What's up? Are you getting tired of this quarantine? Do you maybe have a lot of wood laying around and want to build something cool? Today we are going to be making a physics wine
tools that I'm going to use. Safety, you need to be able to measure, mark stuff. I'm going to be using a 1 1/4 spade bit, but you can use 1 1/2 as well. I'm also using this table saw, not because it's necessary, but because I don't have the right size wood. So if you have 2x4s already, this is not required. You will need a miter saw though.
Alright, so first things first, I'm making this a lot more complicated than it needs to be because I don't have a 2x4. So you can skip past this if you already have one. But basically what I'm going to be doing is making a 2x4 out of this 2x6. So when you measure it, it's not actually 2 inches thick. That is just the nominal size of the wood. So really it's actually going to be 1.5 inches thick if you're measuring with a tape measure. We're going to want to measure out 3.5 inches from the side because that's what 4 inches would be on a regular plank of wood. And we're going to go ahead and mark that off. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and cut this piece of wood down. First things first, safety. As if wearing leather gloves is going to stop a metal blade from cutting through my fingers.
Look, we're going to go ahead and lift these safety blades up here just so we can get a good measurement. And you can see with this red line right here, that's the size that we're at. So we're going to set that at 3.5 because again, we're looking to get that 2x4 and lock it in place. And then we could drop those safeties. It's a lot safer to actually use something to push it through. So that's what this is. We're going to grab the wood and push it through with this as to avoid keeping our hands near the blade. Is plug it in.
Block here, this is going to be loud. Let me measure 3.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Perfect. Next thing is going to be the miter saw. Alrighty, so we're going to start with plugging the saw in. And we're going to make our measurements. Unlock our saw. And we are going to be making these cuts at 45 degrees.
So if you look over here, this is our angle. And if we just drop it over to the side like this, you'll see that is at 45 degrees. Let me lock it back up. And it's not going anywhere.
First thing I want to do is make sure that this is 45 degrees. It probably is, it looks like it, but those are the angles that we're going to be doing. So just to go over it one more time, just to make sure that that's correct. We're going to bring it in here. Perfect. Safety first. It was 45 degrees. Our next thing is going to be measuring out 9 inches. So from this point, we measure out 9 inches and then make that same cut. So we're going this way, this cut will be going that way as well. Easy to just lock up the tape measure right here. Set it up, mark 9 inches. On this side, on this side, and then I using a triangle just to make sure that I've got it right.
And then I draw a line through that like this. All right. What I'm doing here is my laser actually died and I'm too lazy to fix it. It's just making sure that when it comes down, it's going to be hitting that line. You don't want to go too far past it, and you don't want to go short because then you have to do it again. That was pour. It's a 2x4, which is 3.5 inches wide, 1.5 inch thick, and it's 45-degree cut there and a 45-degree cut here, just like that. A 1.25 inch hole that is 1.5 inches down, so it's going to be right about here. So we're going to go ahead and measure that, mark it off. All right, so our next thing here is going to be drilling. This is the point that I went ahead and made. This is, again, 1.5 inches down and then even on each side, so 1.75 inches. And then all that I'm gonna do is take a countersink and make a slight indent right there. And that right there gives us a hole that we're going to put our bit in. Again, it's a spade bit right here. And that way it's just gonna be a little bit easier keeping it dead center. After about a year of drilling and my arm going numb, we finally got through. My issue is that I have this old, terrible spade. I've not been going to the store just because I'm on quarantine, so I can't go get a new one to do this. But I would recommend not using a piece of shit. What I do is just get these edges a little bit fixed up with some sandpaper. I don't really have any sort of grit that you should use. I've got 50 right here, but honestly this might be a little bit much. You might want to go with like a 100 just so it's a little bit more fine. Block of wood, hole in it, 40-degree angles. Now you grab a bottle of wine, put that bad boy in the hole, and then impress your friends. I know that this is only gonna get, 4 or 5 views, but I did make this bottle of wine look pretty damn good. So Meiomi, if you wanna go ahead and sponsor me, get ahead of the game, it'll be coming eventually, so may as well just hop on it now, am I right? All right, word.